Alrighty, folks, welcome on back to Lost Odyssey. Today, we are going to do another 1,000 Years of Dreams, and that dream is called So Long, Friend. Let's see what we've got in store. Even when he's trying to look detached, his true feelings show through. He is timid, cowardly, and gentle. He might try his best to put on a threatening expression, but the smile that comes afterward is indescribably sweet and almost worshipful. This is why Chaim is always telling him to forget it. This happens when they are perched on bar stools or earning a day's pay in the quarry, or walking through the marketplace, or standing on the stone-paved roadway. But why, big brother? Tubal says with a pout. He always calls Chaim big brother. And though Chaim has never asked for his companionship, he takes every opportunity to allow him around. He is worshipful in this sense. Please take me with you, big brother Chaim, when you leave this town. He begs like a child, even though he's old enough to have a regular job. Sailing over the oceans, crossing continents, traveling anywhere you like. My heart starts pounding when I imagine what kind of freedom, he says, his eyes shining like a child. I've always wanted me to travel like you, big brother. Take me with you, please. I can't stand this hick town anymore. He would grab Chaim's hand and cling to it like a little boy, and often he would look around at the people on the street or at the crowds in the tavern, openly making boyish faces at them to show Chaim his disgust. You come from another town, so you know what I'm talking about. The only thing in this place has is its history. Sure, it's old, but it's half dead. Look at these people's faces. Not one of them has any spark. All they want to do is get through one ordinary day after another without any problems. It's the worst place in the world. If I have to stay cooped up here much longer, I'm going to have moss growing on me. No spark. Chaim doesn't see it that way. People here behave with the refinement and mild manner appropriate to a historic city known as the Ancient Capital. They simply have no taste for the kind of ambitions that go with high hopes or danger. Having never set foot outside this place where he was born and raised, Tubal knows nothing about other towns. Chaim knows all too much about them. There are those that used to be the left and right banks of a single town separated only by a river, but which now clash in hatred and intense and ongoing war. Towns in the grip of famine, where the residents snatch food from one another. Economically flourishing towns rampant with crime driven by greed. Towns of rotting houses abandoned by their people in search of wealth and prosperity, while just over the hill, there sparkle boom towns where people celebrate their riches all night long. On his endless journey, Chaim has seen towns without number, and he not only thinks to himself, but says to Tubal, "This is a good town." But praise is the last thing Tubal wants to hear about his hometown. You must be joking, he says. Not at all, Chaim says. This is a really good town. I'm telling you, that can't be true. No place is perfect, of course. I'm not talking about perfection. You've only been here 6 months or so. You don't know. I've been stuck in this hick town since the day I was born. You can't know how I feel. I'm bored out of my mind and sick of the place. I can't stand it anymore. Chaim is not unaware of what Tubal is trying to tell him. But no. Chaim shakes his head and gives Tubal a sour smile. You know, he says, there are some people in this world who would give anything to get a taste of what it's like to have enough peaceful days to make you bored. Well, that may be so. I think you were lucky to have been born into a town like this, where the people are so happy. When you sleep in an inn in this town, you don't have to keep your ear cocked at night for threatening sounds in the hallway. Young women can walk down the streets at night without a dagger for protection. The children have plenty of plain but nourishing food. and they can play outdoors until the sun goes down. Life on the road teaches you these things. The more towns you see, the more deeply the lesson leaves its mark on you. The kind of things that Tubal takes for granted are, in fact, the indispensable keys to happiness. I'm not so sure, big brother. Isn't happiness making your dreams come true? If all you need to do is go on living in peace and security, what's the point of living at all? Tubal is not just being perverse and arguing for the sake of arguing. Eyes lock on Khaim. He is asking these questions in all seriousness and sincerity. Khaim recognizes that Tubal is an absolutely straightforward fellow, and that precisely because he has a comfortable, untroubled upbringing, he has come to feel constrained in the town where he was born. The irony of it calls forth a twinge of pain in Khaim's breast. This, in turn, provokes him to challenge Tubal. So tell me, what is your dream? My dream? That's obvious, isn't it? To get the hell out of this place as soon as possible. And go where? Anywhere. Anywhere but here. And what will you do when you get there? I don't know. What if you end up someplace that's not at all what you were expecting? I said I don't know, didn't I? Stop being so hard on me, big brother. I'm not being hard on you. These are the things you have to think about. Well, I've had enough. An outsider like you can't possibly know how I feel. Though he stalks away in anger, Tubal will be back in the morning, as worshipful as ever of his big brother. He has a simple, carefree personality of a child. Tubal has a wife, the still girlish Angela, whom he has known since childhood. Angela carries within her the crystallization of their love. Tubal will soon become a father. Tubal's parents, relatives, and friends shower their blessing upon the young couple who will soon be young parents. But Tubal says to Khaim, I don't want this. Glowering, he all but spits the words out as the two sit at the far end of the tavern's bar. Don't want to be a father? Khaim asks, which only increases the bitterness of Tubal's expression. Tubal nods, but as if to negate his answer, he mutters, No, I'm glad enough to have a kid. How could I not be happy about that? But I don't know. I just don't want this. He can't quite put into words, he says. He cocks his head a few times as if to explain himself. Then he swigs down his liquor. You don't have a family, do you, big brother? No, I don't. What does it feel like to be all alone in the world? Khaim's only answer is a strange smile. Tubal interprets Khaim's expression and silence to suit himself. You're absolutely free, right? Of course you are. No load to bear, no leg irons. You think kids are leg irons? In a word, yes. To tell the truth, Angela is too. And my parents. When they get old, they'll be another burden. Working every day for Angela and the kid, raising the kid, taking care of my old parents, and my life ends. That's what the birth of a child is. It's like a life sentence. You're stuck. Khaim does not nod in agreement with this. Neither does he try to argue against it. Tubal interprets this silence too, as he sees fit. I know what you're thinking, he frowns. Shut up, kid. You don't know what you're talking about. Khaim says nothing. Tubal, uncomfortable, looks away. I'm glad, he says, more to himself than Khaim. I'm glad to be having a kid with Angela. I'm going to do everything I can for them. It's true. I wouldn't lie to you. You have to believe me, big brother. I really am happy, and I know I'm going to have to work hard. Yes, I know, says Khaim. I'm happy, but at the same time, I don't want it. It's not that I'm embarrassed about it or anything. It's just that, I don't know. I don't want to give up this whole business and run away someplace. Oh, I want to give up this whole business and run away someplace far away. So now the truth comes out, Khaim says with a laugh. What do you mean? You just said you want to run away, not travel. This is probably Tubal's true feelings, to which he gives grudging assent. I suppose so. How else can I put it? Khayyam almost wishes he'd been a little tougher on Tubal. How could Tubal answer if he said, for example, "You know, Tubal, you started talking about traveling with me around the same time Angela's belly started to swell." What would the look on Tubal's face be like if he asked, "If a family is leg irons, why did you even propose to Angela?" How would Tubal shift his gaze if he confronted him with, "You know, Tubal, if you want to get out of this town so badly, you don't have to travel with me. Just take off by yourself." But Khayyam doesn't have the meanness to ask such questions, nor is he given to meddling in people's private affairs. Instead, he drains his cup of its last few drops and says only, "Let's get out of here." Even after they've left the tavern, Tubal goes on about the stupidity of living the rest of his life in this town. The broad night sky is clear, the moon is out, and perfectly round. "I'm asking you again, big brother, when you leave this town, just say the word to me. Wouldn't it be better for you, too, to have a traveling companion?" Tubal is starting to go in circles again when Khayyam interrupts him. "Didn't you want to get out there all by yourself? Traveling with a companion is not exactly a solo trip." "No, well, you see, you're right. I just have to go part way with you. You can let me tag along a little while, and then I'll take off on my own." "You just slow me down." I know that. Traveling is hard, sure, and my life might even be in danger sometimes. I know that. But that's what makes it so thrilling. Risking your life is no game. Look, if I turn out to be a drag on you, you can just leave me behind. That's it. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, look, I'm ready to leave my parents and my wife and kid behind. This is never going to end. Khayyam nods and says with a sigh, "All right. You'll take me with you?" Tubal's face lights up. "I've been in this town too long," says Khayyam. "It's about time for me to get out there walking with the wind in my face." "Yeah, that's it. Walk with the wind in your face. Life on the road. When do we leave? It's getting pretty late in the year. You don't want to be on the road in winter, do you? Say, how about after the snow in the pass has melted?" Khayyam points to the moon hanging in the sky. "Huh?" Tobias looks puzzled as he looks up. The night this moon is perfectly round again after it's waned and waxed, meaning exactly 1 month from tonight. Tubal's face starts to move as if he wants to say something. He probably wants to say, "That's too soon." His face betrays a look of hesitation and confusion that was absent when he was engaged in his usual endless chatter. "A month from now? That's the middle of winter, big brother." "I know that. Won't it be hard getting through the pass?" "You don't want to go?" "No, that's not it. If you don't like it, you don't have to come with me. I'm leaving the night of the next full moon. That's all there is to it." "Okay then, big brother. I'll go. I'm definitely in." The night of the next full moon. Angela would be having her baby right about then. Ooh. The month slips by. Towards the beginning, Tubal is excited, and whenever they meet, he reminds Khayyam, "Don't forget your promise, big brother." After the waning moon has disappeared from the sky, however, he begins to grow more reserved. The vanished moon reappears in the sky, and as it waxes little by little, Tubal stops trailing after Khayyam. Sometimes he goes so far as to slip away through the crowd when he sees Khayyam approaching in the marketplace. Khayyam notices Tubal's change in attitude. It is something he expected to happen and was even counting on. Hands upon her swollen belly, Angela wears a smile of deep serenity as she shops at the market. Not just Tubal, but everyone who encounters that smile of hers must surely come to realize this. The dreams of the young to be sure, involve doing what you want to do, but that is not the only kind of dream there is. When people grow up, they see that there is another kind of dream, and that is to wish for the smile of the one you love and who loves you in return, to long for it always and forever. That is another kind of dream that people come to understand when they grow up. Oh, we're back to a full moon. The moon is full again. In its perfect roundness, the moon floods the empty stone-paved road with brilliant light. Tubal comes running, out of breath, to the empty room where Chaim has completed his preparations for travel. Tubal is carrying nothing. He is not even changed out of his everyday clothing. "Big brother, I'm so sorry," he pants, gasping for breath. He ducks his head repeatedly before Chaim an apology. "You changed your mind?" Chaim asks, trying not to smile. "No, not at all. I'm going to go. I'm planning on going with you, big brother. Only..." Angela went into labor as the sun was going down, he says. They called the town's most skilled and experienced midwife, but Tubal still hasn't heard the baby cry. This birth is taking much longer than it should. Angela is giving it everything she's got. My mother and father are praying for all they're worth, so at least until the baby is safely born, I want to stay with Angela. She says it calms her down to hold my hand, so, well, I really can't leave her now. Chaim nods to him with full understanding. "So please, big brother, wait just a little longer. As soon as I've seen the baby born, I'll leave home, I swear. I'll definitely go, just a little longer." Even as he moves, his feet are stamping impatiently on the ground with his eagerness to rush back home. "I understand," says Chaim. "I'll wait until the moon is directly overhead in the night sky. Don't worry, it won't take that long. You'll just have to wait a little while, just a very short while. No hurry, but on the other hand, I want you to promise me one thing." "What's that?" "When the baby is born, I want you to hold it in your arms. Don't come back here until you've held the baby. Understood?" Tubal looks at him with a puzzled expression, but he nods in agreement and says, "Understood. I'll do exactly that, big brother. So be sure you wait for me." Tubal charges out of the room with even greater force than when he came in. The sound of his footsteps running on the stone pavement draws away, and when Chaim is sure he's gone, a smile slowly spreads across his face. Tubal never comes back. Surprise. As the moon reaches its zenith and begins to dip towards the west, signs of light appear in the eastern sky. Chaim approaches the mountain pass on the edge of town. He will be traveling alone. Heading up into the pass, he walks swiftly as if to shake off the sound of Tubal's voice remaining in his ears. "Big brother Chaim, I'm so sorry. Big brother, I'm sorry." He can imagine the voice all too clearly, and Tubal bowing his head in abject apology. There's no need for him to hear the actual voice. Long after he's left town, he will continue to see Tubal's worshipful smile in the eye of his mind. Tubal would not have proved much support as a traveling companion, but a journey together would likely have given them both much to laugh about. But never mind, this is just fine, Chaim tells himself and ups his pace even more. He's not the least bit resentful or angry at Tubal for having broken his promise. Quite the contrary. He would like to bless Tubal for having chosen to stay in his native place and protect his home. All the more so because this is a dream that could never come true for Chaim himself. A frigid wind tears through the pre-dawn pass. If the cries of a newborn baby could ride on that wind to be heard up here, Chaim chuckles at the thought. Will Tubal abandon his dream to leave his hometown, or will he start looking for another big brother who will help him conceal his fear of going on the road alone? Chaim has no way to tell. Best to leave it unresolved. Tobal could not take the road the night his child was born. The hands with which he held his newborn baby were useless for the travel preparations. If only for that reason, he took one step towards becoming a grown-up. "Let's go," Kaya mutters to self as he crosses over the pass. "Look, Angela, he's smiling." The happy smile that Tobal fixes on his baby will be traveling companion enough for Kayam until he reaches the next town. Aww. That was actually another rare happy one. I mean, yeah, sure, somebody wanted to leave everything and go traveling, which I understand, but at the same time don't understand. I don't know. I've never experienced something like that to have any opinion on it. So it is what it is. But I hope you folks have enjoyed this episode and story. I hope you, wow. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and checking out some of my other content. And as always, I will catch you folks in the next episode. Stay frosty out there.